name is Candace Koch. I'm running for City Councillor. I'm running because I would like to see a better quality of life for residents in Mission. I'm deeply invested in this community as a volunteer for almost 10 years, and I've been part of several initiatives that have improved life for children in school, and also initiatives in North Mission, including safety and quality of life. I want to see Mission residents work, play, and live in this community, and I'm committed to that. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Dustin Hiles. Welcome to Associate Common Friends. Thank you for having us this afternoon. It is a great pleasure to be here. I've been in Mission for 34 years, and I'm running because I believe in safety, affordability, and opportunity here at home. And I think that I'm the only candidate here that has the willpower, the drive, and the vision to deliver. And so on October 15th, I'm asking for your support to be the next mayor of Mission so that I can put families first, bring opportunity and investment here, home again, and we can get things done. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon. It's Kenny Brage. I'm running for mayor, so Snegal, everybody. I'm running because I believe that we have institutional failure across this city in almost every institution because of conflicts and corruption. Punjabi people in this room understand what we've had to face here as Punjabis. I can share with you that there's an awful lot that's gone on behind the scenes that I'm aware of because my family's been here for a long time. As you guys know, I represent our family 73 years, and I've had enough of it. There's been so many lies told and so many policies that are corrupt. Our institutions are failing because we have corrupt individuals. And what I mean by corrupt is that they're not voting in the best interest of the community at large. They're doing things for self-gain, self-promotion. I'm running to be able to bring the truth forward and to represent change. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Ken O'Rourke, accessory ball, and I'm born and raised in Mission. Come from a Pioneer Sikh family, 70 years, along with Mr. Brage's family. I'm seeking re-election in October. I feel a long-time volunteer, probably close to 40 years in this community, ran tennis tournaments, second for diversity, and columnist and all those things. So the reason I'm seeking re-election is, actually I wasn't going to seek re-election actually. It took me a good week to think about if I wanted to do this again. I decided to run again because I think we need to fight on council. I feel I've been the only one addressing the key issues that need to be addressed on council. Whether it be lower taxes, fight against cannabis stores, or supporting the waterfront, which Kenny will explain later. I feel like I want to continue that effort, and that's why I'm running again. We need to have that fight. There's too many people that say yes, 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 and not enough people say no, no, no. So you'll hear more from that. Thank you.
I just want to apologize to everyone that speaks English and doesn't understand Punjabi. I'm going to do my speech today in Punjabi. We got another chance to listen to it in English at the debate on the 27th. Sat Sri Akal ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ। Born and raised in Mission. ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਪ੍ਰੀਸਕੂਲ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ। ਤੇ Mission ਦੇ ਦੋ ਵੱਡੇ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ। ਇੱਕ ਹੈਗਾ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਪੁੱਛ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਉਹਦੇ ਚ ਆਏ ਆ Polygon has Silverdale under control. ਇੱਥੇ density ਨਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ। ਮੈਂ Mission ਦੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੇਚਣੀ। First half, second half, third half, ਉਹ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਓ। ਉੱਤੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ। ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਲਟੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਅਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਵਾਲੇ 15-20 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਘਰ ਮੰਗਣਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਫਿਰ ਉਦੋਂ ਪੰਗਾ ਪਊਗਾ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਆ Mission ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਵਾਕ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕੁੱਕਣ ਦੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਵੱਧ ਇੱਜ਼ਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਫੋਰਮੋਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵਾਸ਼ਰੂਮ ਜਾਣਾ ਕੰਮ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਬੈਡ ਔਨ ਦ 24th ਰੈਲੀ ਰੱਖੀ ਆ Mission ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਨਕੰਬੈਂਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੂਸਰੇ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਸਟੈਂਡ ਚੱਕਿਆ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਕੀ ਆ 24th ਨੂੰ ਰੈਲੀ ਆ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਹੁੰਚੋ ਤੇ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਮਾਮੇ ਦੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੈਗਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਵਾਅਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਦੇ ਦਿਓ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ
Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. My name is Paul Horn. I'm running for mayor, and I think for the last year and a half, you've gotten a chance to get to know me and to know how I like to work. In a word, the way I like to work is in partnership. And I think it's going to be incredibly important as we face a lot of obstacles and opportunities. I think we can all tell that Mission is at a very important crossroads right now. All you need to do is count the cranes out there and you can tell how many new opportunities we have, but you also can see the challenges. You can see the people sleeping in the bushes. you can see the challenges that we're having with growth and processing things at our city hall. And so we need experience and we need to work together. We talk about the 4 H's when it comes to our community: high schools, highways, healthcare, housing. All of those are provincial issues. And we're going to need people who understand the rationale when we go to provincial ministries and say we need our share of the funding, just the same way as we did last week when it came to our water supply. The old way of working, of being angry, or of having some sort of backdoor, leaking information from council meetings, those sorts of approaches haven't worked for us. That's why we have some of the challenges we have today. It's incredibly important for us to build teamwork, whether it's with citizens and citizen groups, whether it's with local government in the form of Board of Education, Regional District, or Fraser Health, or whether it's with the province. My approach for us at City Hall is to have a new culture, a culture that builds in our small town values and the way we work, for people who work there to be proud of the work we do and to remember who they do it for. So I want to continue that work. When I ran a year and a half ago, I ran with it in mind that I was going to be doing a 6-year term, not a 1.5-year term. We have a lot of work to do, and I want to ask not only that the people of this community give me a chance to finish that work and continue it, but bring us experienced people to work with along the way so that we can continue it as a team. Thank you very much for having me here today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I love Mission. It's shaped who I am. When my parents chose to leave India, they chose Mission to start a better life. I was born in Mission, I was brought up here, I built a business here, I got married here, and I hope to raise my kids here. I think as Mission is growing, we're facing growing pains. It's important that I come in with experience, and whether it's advocating to the province or it's providing, talking one-on-one with residents, I think I can deliver on a lot of things and offer, the true meaning of better quality of life.
Hello, my name is Angel Elias and I'm running for City Council. I'm not new to the community and I've been actively serving the community for the past 15 years. Currently, I'm the Executive Director of the Mission Hospice Society, a member of the Mission Midday Rotary Club, serving as past president with 13 years in the club and 10 on the executive. I'm a Paul Harris recipient and a recipient of the City of Mission Community Service Award. I've raised my children in the community and I'm an active parent in Mission Minor Hockey Association, manager of the Midget A1 hockey team for 2 years, Mission Minor Lacrosse Association, and a proud dance mom. I'm a director on the BC Hospice Palliative Care Association representing the Fraser Region. I'm the co-founder and chair of the Federation of Fraser Region Hospice Societies. My knowledge and experience will be beneficial to City Council. My relationships I have built will be beneficial for advocating our provincial government for funding for services such as healthcare and a high school. As an experienced leader working alongside our community, I'm offering my expertise and knowledge on local community issues, business planning, program management, and I'm ready to leverage a multitude of years of experience for the successful leadership and management of our city in alignments with its mission, vision, and strategic priorities. Over the years, I've proven that I have the competency and commitment required to properly represent Mission, with the interpersonal skills necessary to converse with the community, as well as an objective and critical mind. I'm a strategic thinker with the ability to deal with a variety of complex issues, always acting with consistency regardless of my audience. I do pride myself on being open-minded and approachable. Both my kids have left Mission for opportunities elsewhere, and I'm running to move Mission forward to create opportunities so that our kids and our grandkids can live, work, and play here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carol Hamilton, and I'm seeking a 3rd term on City Council. I believe experience matters, and I have that experience. Having served 8 years on council, 9 years as a school trustee, and the last 4 years as a director on the Fraser Valley Regional District. I've had the pleasure of being a council liaison in several committees: the Downtown Business Association, the Division of Family Practice, Mission Affordable Housing, Mission Sustainable Housing Committee, and the Division of Family Practice. So I have a very good knowledge and broad scope of the role and responsibilities of a councillor. I've lived here for 47 years. I spent my whole career in banking, 34 years in Mission, and so I would feel honored to serve another term as your city councillor. I believe moving forward, experience matters. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Davies, and I'm seeking a 2nd term for re-election for council. I'm running for re-election because I really am passionate about making life better for everyone in Mission. And I think it's important, when you say things like that, to understand what's driving you. That when you can make a change that helps a new resident or current residents find shelter they couldn't have before. If you can move housing stock, work with developers to ensure that you're making that forward, it's an exciting part of what you do. If you can help local businesses thrive, if you can create a business environment where businesses thrive, it truly is an empowering experience. The same goes for jobs and opportunities and even resident enjoyment in actually living in Mission. When you go out to our parks and our trails that we're developing and bringing the necessary needs and wants that the community is after, it really does make things wonderful as a council. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Placas. I've served on council for 11 years. I've been a resident here for 34, and we've raised 4 kids, and we now have 5 grandchildren. I'm running for council because I believe the last 4 years we have worked very diligently to put together the planning processes that will help us enact development in the future of this community. And we really need to get on with development in our community. We struggle with our taxes in our community, and we have a limited tax base to work through. So as you've seen in the last number of years, we've brought forward the waterfront plan the last few months. We've brought forward the Silverdale plan. Silverdale in itself has also encouraged commercial and retail development in our community already. People are looking for commercial spaces. So I think what has to happen next go around the council is to put together all of those ingredients that we've done in the last 4 years, the utility planning, the transportation master plan, develop the DCCs that we're working on now, but put those together and bring them forward so that you understand what are the requirements for you as a developer to build in our community. And we need to move forward in a very proactive way because, as you can understand that our community is, as I said, our ongoing growing costs that we have to deal with. And each year, as you see your taxes go 3 to 5% a year, that will continue until we get new development in our community. So I'm looking forward to the next 4 years working on those challenges. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for attending this. My name is Brandon Keeley. I was born and raised in Mission, and I believe we need more youth on council who are ready to bring new ideas, fresh perspectives, and some energy and enthusiasm into City Hall. I was raised by a single mother in West Heights. She raised me and my 2 brothers, struggling to make ends meet. I've asked her if she could do it today, and she said no. Housing is too expensive, property taxes are too high, and there's not enough well-paying jobs in Mission. It's time to change that. And it's time to get serious about lobbying senior levels of government so our healthcare and education systems in Mission don't continue to deteriorate, rather improve. So where do we begin? We begin by listening to you, the people, the voter, and the taxpayer. Community engagement has been the foundation of my campaign and will continue to be if elected. You, the voter, have so much more to teach us candidates than we candidates have to teach you. We need to start making decisions based on what we hear from you. Councillors have to be out there in the community, day in and day out, listening to you. It's truly a full-time position, and it's time we start treating it as such. That's why I ask all of you on October 15th that you vote for me for running meeting. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shirley Panda, and I have basically chosen to take this path because I have been looking for and talking to quite a few people, had sort of ideas on what has been going wrong over the years and what sort of people see as hindrances to even such things as sort of construction or sort of housing and schooling, and all these things added up create a level of sort of unhappiness, and it's like that's something that needs a change, and there needs to be a reevaluation on a lot of even the processes, whether it's how is it that building costs so much, or why is it that we're not getting anywhere with the province, whether it's for overpasses or whether it's for a new school. I mean, these are necessary things that residents need. We need to grow this is sort of an inevitable thing, you know, everybody has kids, family grows, so city will grow, of course. Is it a good thing? Yes. Does it need to be done in a way that is sort of, planned properly? Yes. And, there's a lot of things that are missing as is that, like I see, there's a need for growth, absolutely. There's a need to add, cheaper housing. Why is it that housing costs so much, So I hope that with this situation, and obviously like I'm in this with you, I've been living here, I don't have any sort of vested interest in anything, I just want to see our city do better and for us to be happy living here. So I hope that this October 15th you will vote for me. I am a newbie, I do apologize for that, so I'm a bit nervous today, but thank you so much for listening to me.
Hi there, my name is Steve McClay. I've only been a resident of Mission for 2 years, but I've been a firefighter for 18 years, charitable director for 6 years, and I've always really been invested in trying to give back to my community. And then since moving out here, spending more time with my son out here, I've really wanted to invest into our community and try and have a better future for our families, for our young kids. So I want to start investing in our parks, in our leisure centers, focus on some of the housing and how we can work on some of the developments with that and not explode too quickly, but keep the infrastructure in line. Yeah, October 15th, I appreciate your vote. Thanks.
My name is Sebastian Obi, and many of your kids in schools, if you have kids within the schools, will know me as Obi. There we go. I'm a leadership student who dedicated many hours to the community through community service initiatives such as Adopt a Block, volunteering with Mission Community Services. I sit on the board of Mission Community Services as well as Mission Community Services Society, Community Skills Center Society. And through those organizations, I've learned that there's many things that we need to do. We need housing that's affordable for young families. We need temporary housing that is usable and there for people that don't have homes. We need more activities for youth to be able to have. Due to the fact that there's not many activities here for youth that can do, they will turn to drugs. They will turn to alcohol. They will turn to partying. They will turn to activities that we don't want to see happen. We want people to thrive in this city. We want people to be able to say, we want to live in Mission, not just work in Mission. We want to live, work, play, and build our families right here. I bring a unique perspective to the table here. I'm 20 years old. I'm a third-year university student, and I've seen a lot of the sides that kids go through today. I'm running because I want to be a voice for the youth, because the youth of Mission and the youth of the world are our future. So on October 15th, I urge you, don't just vote for who you believe can do for you and the city right now. Vote for those who have the 5-year plan, the 10-year plan, the plans to move Mission forward into a sustainable future. Thank you.
Hello and Sat Sri Akal. I'm Pash Barar. I'm running for council. This is my first time. I'm running because service is in my DNA. My great-grandfather served in World War I. My grandfather served in World War II. My father has been here since 1962 and been selflessly helping the community by filling in paperwork, giving rides, etc. in our community that is called Seva. And that means selfless help. Not for self-promotion, it's just selfless help. When we see there's an issue, we deal with it and move everything forward. So I was born and raised here. Born here. Now, you cannot be born in Mission. We are losing services and this city is going backwards. And I'm here to do something about it and move the city forward. So I hope you'll vote for me on October 15th.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming out today on this nice Sunday afternoon. My name is Paul Hawkridge, and I'm not going to bore you all with my lengthy community service that I've done here. You can check out one of these cards before you leave. got my information on it. Check out my website. More stuff than you'll ever want to know about me is in there. Why am I running for council this time? I am running for council, by the way. I've been in the community, as I say, since 1990, been doing community work since mid-90s, and I now have the time to do it full-time, because make no mistake, council is a full-time position. The other thing I pride myself on, and I don't do speeches, I'm not prepared with speeches, from my heart. But as I look down the table here, I know probably 95% of the people here and have worked with them in various capacities one way or another. I am the type of person that can work with anybody diligently and effectively. That's it. Just check out my website, check out who I am. I am who you see. Vote for me on the 15th. One of your votes. There's 6 of them for council. Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyler McStravick, born and raised in Mission, obviously. I'm 27 years old, and I'm running because we need change. Everybody talks about having experience, but what has that done for all of you? Has there been lots of changes? Do we have the new high school? I know that's provincial, but I will fight for that. We need upgrades to the hospital. I will fight for that. We need better roads, better infrastructure, and I will fight for that. Mental health, homelessness, on our main streets, all the time. We need to fix that. All these people may have the experiences, but what has changed? Nothing. So that is why I'm running for council. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tracy Loeffler, and I'm running for a 3rd term as a school trustee. And I would just like to acknowledge that we are here at Mission on the lands of the Stolo people. And I'm running for a 3rd term for the same reason that I ran initially 8 years ago, and that was because I want to try to see if I can be part of the solution and try to help and serve the students here in Mission. Full stop, that's what I've been trying to do. And we had set a pretty good foundation for things. COVID has come in and really derailed our focus from education and to health and safety, and so bringing our focus back to educating our students, and of course the high school and the relationships that the Board of Education has created with mayor and council, with our MLAs. We have been making a lot of progress on getting that school built, and it is those key, healthy, respectful relationships that's getting that done. And further, with my other role, having been elected as a director to the BC School Trustees Association, I have meetings, face-to-face meetings with the Minister of Education at least a few times a year. She's very clear about who I am, that we are advocating very strongly for that school. And again, it is those key working relationships that's going to keep moving us forward, whether it's mayor and council or school board. It's those key working relationships that are going to get it done.
हेलो सत श्री अकाल सारे मोस्टली 90 100% ही सारे इतने पंजाबी है तो मैं अपनी स्पीच भी आज पंजाबी चाहूँगी मेरे बहुत मौके मिलने इंग्लिश बोलने का ते मैं स्कूल ट्रस्टी लिए रन कर रही हूँ फर्स्ट टाइम ऑफ कोर्स मैं मोरे आई हूँ मेरे बच्चे दोनों हाई स्कूल जाते हैं हाई स्कूल मैंने बार-बार दसन की लोड़ नहीं है सारे ने हाई स्कूल के बारे गल की है हाई स्कूल नीड टू बी इंप्रूव वी नीड मोर स्कूल्स कल्ला हाई स्कूल नहीं एलीमेंटरी स्कूल भी बहुत नवीं जनरेशनस ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਸਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਮੂਵ ਹੋਇਆ ਐਬਸਫੋਰਡ ਤੋਂ ਮੂਵ ਹੋਇਆ ਵੈਨਕੂਵਰ ਇਵਨ ਮੈਂ ਦੋ ਨੌਕਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਕਈ ਫੈਮਿਲੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਕੈਲਗਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਮੂਵ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ 'ਚ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਓਵਰਕਰਾਊਡਡ ਆ ਸੋ ਵੀ ਨੀਡ to bring more schools, elementary, middle, more resources, ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਲਈ more ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ resources, teachers ਲਈ ਵੀ resources, definitely ਜਦੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 10 ਬੱਚੇ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੇ ਲਈ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੇ 20 ਬੱਚੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਤਾਂ obviously teachers ਲਈ ਵੀ hard ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, more counselors, more ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ therapists ਵੀ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ 'ਚ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੱਚੇ special needs ਲਈ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਕੱਲੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੀ ਖੜੇ ਕਰਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੋਰ ਰਿਸੋਰਸਸ ਵੀ ਲਿਆਉਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਦੇਵੇ ऑफ कोर्स थेरेपीज हैंड ऑन प्रैक्टिस कला किताबां ही पढ़ के कुछ नहीं होना सो मैं चाਹੁंदी हाँ कि आप मिशन नूं थोड़ा इंप्रूव करिए स्कूलों च थोड़ी होर इंप्रूवमेंट लैके आइए होर सारियां लैंग्वेज इंट्रोड्यूस हो गई मिशन दे विच आप अपनी पंजाबी लैंग्वेज इंट्रोड्यूस करने के बारे क्यों नहीं सोचते सो मैनूं लगता है कि हुण टाइम आ गया थोड़ा जिहा आपां नूं थोड़ा बदलना चाहिए तो अपनी कम्यूनिटी के लिए स्टैंड करना चाहिए सो इस करके मैं मोड़े आई हाँ 15 अक्टूबर नूं 5 अक्टूबर नूं 8 अक्टूबर नूं एडवांस वोटिंग तुसी प्लीज़ फॉरवर्ड आओ वोट करो और मैनूं मौका दो उस कम्यूनिटी नूं सर्व करन दा एंड मैं अपने वालों 100% दूंगी थैंक यू
Thank you, candidates, for the introductions. For the last candidate, you forgot to say your name.
नहीं ये चलो बढ़िया गल हो गई क्योंकि स्पीच तो सारे जने ने भूल जाना सो मेक श्योर थानू मेरा नाम चेता रहे मेरा नाम हैगा जैश बेंस थैंक यू
So now we're going to move forward into the question part. We will, if anybody that is here has a question that they would like to write down, we do have pieces of paper and pens that we can circulate for you guys to write your question on. And starting again from this end, on the yellow slip.
ट्रेसी ने जिदा दस्सिया ही ऑलरेडी इंग्लिश मैं वो चीज़ दोबारा दस दियाँ इन्ना सोचा कि सिटी ऑफ मिशन ने कि भी साड़ी सिटी इन्ना ग्रो करूगी ओवर क्राउडेड हो चुके हैं स्कूल सो कई स्कूलों च पोर्टेबल रखने की पूरी प्लानिंग है और इन फ्यूचर कमिंग मंथ्स कमिंग ईयर्स पोर्टेबल भी आओगे स्कूल जिदा जिदा होर बढ़ रहे अपार्टमेंट्स नवे टाउन हाउसेस आ रहे हैं हाउसिंग आ रही है ऑब्वियसली स्कूल्स भी होर आओगे यही चीज़ एडवोकेट करने की असं मोरे हुण आ रहे हैं तो आवांगे और अपनी आवाज़ चुकांगे कि हाँ जिदा कि घर नवे आ रहे हैं होर चीज़ां नवी आ रही हैं तो स्कूल करते नहीं क्योंकि बिना स्कूलों तो कुछ नहीं होना तो स्कूल रिसोर्सेस आपां नूं लोड़ आ उन्हें चाहिए आते आउणगे मैं ज़्यादा लंबा नहीं रखती थैंक यू
The question is number 15. And if somebody that is either an incumbent right now would like to answer this question, that would be appreciated. I see the mayor put his hand up.
Okay, I was going to go Punjabi. Now you're going to go Punjabi? Oh, that's telling my time. Question 14 and question 15 to me are very, very similar. We hear all the time that a city is better than us, another city is worse than us. We have a staff person that's been waiting for 18 months for a building permit in Langley, for example. And so we actually went and visited with the Canadian Home Builders Association of the Fraser Valley and asked them, how do we stack up? And the answer was, we stack up better than some and worse than some in different areas. And so from that, we asked the question, what can we be doing about it? I think others have spoken about the idea that yes, there's new technology coming. Yes, there are issues of hiring. Those issues of hiring exist all across the Fraser Valley and Greater Vancouver. There's a shortage in those personnel. So what does that leave us to do that sets us apart? If you've ever run a business, and I know there are a lot of people in the room who have, you know that you have this really important balance with your staff, where you want them to have a culture of customer is always right, hiring for the customer. But at the same time, you have to be supportive of your staff. They don't all walk in the door immediately knowing how to do the job, especially if they've worked in another place. And so we have to be doing this constant thing where we're working with our staff to try and coach them to be better. When I first ran, I said I was going to be a present mayor. I treat it not like a full-time job, but like a full-time and a half job. You drive past that office at 9:30 at night, I'm still there. I'll be the last guy out of the building. Why? Because I want to set that culture for our staff. I want them to understand that we're working just as hard as we want them to work. But it's also going to come down to the leadership that we hire. For example, the feedback from Harry Gill, now that he's running the building permit program, has been fantastic about his staff, and the feedback from the community has been amazing. We've got our building permit times down to 4 months for single family. It's going to be 3 months, we're told, by the time the election comes around. 1 week for revisions and less than a month for small improvements. And I don't think we're satisfied with those ambitions. We want to continue to go, but the trend is right. One thing people need to realize is all the stuff that's said on social media affects our ability to bring good people. If they can go to another community and do their job without having their name get ripped publicly, they're going to do it. You can't pay somebody to come here and not feel like they can go to the grocery store without having a conflict with their neighbors. So we've been working very hard to give them an opportunity to get feedback and give feedback. We've had 2 builders forums. We will have more of them as we move forward. It's going to be incredibly important for us to continue building that culture of caring from our staff and caring for our staff.
Thank you. Punjabi ਚ ਬੋਲੂੰਗਾ। So ਜਦੋਂ private time ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ compared to ਜਿਵੇਂ ਚਿਲਵਾਕ ਹੋਵੇ ਜਾਂ even ਆਵਸਪੁਰ ਹੋਵੇ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੋ ਮੈਂ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ 9 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਜੈਕ private time ਤੇ even ਜੋ ਸਾਡੀ ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਸਟੈਪ ਲੱਗੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਟਾਫ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇਨਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਆ ਜੋ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਪੇਪਰ ਵਰਕ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੇ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਵਾ ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਲੋਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਰਾਈਟ ਬਿਕਾਜ਼ ਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਪੇਪਰ ਵਰਕ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਤੇ ਮਨੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਰੇਟ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਨੋਟਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਾਂ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਵਾ ਸੋ even Paul ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਵਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਰਾਈਟ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਟਾਫ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਅਜੇ ਥੋੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਚੇਂਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਸੇਮ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਮੰਗਦੇ ਆ ਛੋਟਾ ਟਾਊਨ ਮੈਂਟੈਲਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਇੰਸਪੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਫੇਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਲਾਈ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਸੋ ਸਾਡਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਜੋੜਾ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੇਅਰ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਹਾਇਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਵਾ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੋਂ ਸਰੀ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਵਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ 8 ਤੋਂ 12 ਵੀਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਕਰਨੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਆ 6 ਮਹੀਨਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ 8 ਤੋਂ 12 ਵੀਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਤੇ ਟੈਕਨੋਲੋਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਸਪੈਂਡ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਪੈਸੇ ਲਾਇਆ ਟਰੈਕ ਹੋ ਜੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਆਨਲਾਈਨ ਹੋ ਜੇ ਟਰੈਕ ਹੋ ਜੇ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਪਿਆ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਡੈਸਕ ਤੇ ਪਿਆ ਵਾ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਪਿਆ ਵਾ ਤੇ ਕਿੰਨੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਨੂੰ ਰੈਡੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬਿਲਡਰ ਫਾਰਮ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਓਪਨ ਹਾਊਸ ਥੀਏਟਰ ਰੈਂਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਬਿਲਡਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਦਿਖਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਸਟੈਪ ਆਉਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਤੇ ਪੂਰਾ ਜੋੜਾ ਤੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਹਾਇਰ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਪਏ ਆ ਦੂਜੇ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪੈਲਿਟੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆਹ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨਾ ਵਾ ਪਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਜੋੜਾ 8 ਤੋਂ 12 ਵੀਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 6 ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵੇ
Yeah, thank you. I just want to echo what Mayor Paul Warren and Councillor Gill said. We are working very hard with our staff, and as a council, we have taken responsibility to speed up the building permit times. And I think we're making progress. So change is it's coming very soon. And so I'm not going to take long here, but I think it's already been said with Mayor Paul Horn and Councillor Gill. We are making progress, and we still want to hear feedback from the public, but we have taken action. Thank you.
Thank you. I would just want to carry on with what Mayor Horn and Councillor Gill, Councillor Herrera said. So we have asked our staff where we've given them key performance indicators. We call them KPIs, which make staff accountable to council. And we've asked for them to bring back reports quarterly on goals that they've been given and how far along they are with those goals. So that's something fairly new that staff are looking to embrace. And another thing that we've done is three years ago, I asked staff to consider continuous improvement to find efficiency. It's the lean process, which is a culture I lived at the credit union when I was manager there. So it's looking to find those improvements by continuous improvement to find those efficiencies. So for example, we would take the permitting process. You'd look at that from start to finish, and then you would debrief and say, where are the gaps? How can we make it better? So those are 2 initiatives that we've taken as council for our staff to be more accountable. Thank you.
I think this is an excellent question, and obviously it's very important to many people in the audience here today. And I would agree that although our application times have come down, they're nowhere near where they need to be. We need them to be measured in days, maybe weeks, but not months. If we're at months, that simply is not acceptable, and that's something that we, as council, will continue to have to work towards. But I think there's other areas too in some cities doing some pretty unique things with pre-templated designs that can be building permit approved on the spot. And there's areas like that we can look at to help improve processes and make things a little bit faster for developers in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, and agree with everything that's been said so far. I think that one thing that we've been challenged with is the upsurge in development applications, not necessarily just single-family homes, but multi-unit. And secondary to that, we certainly have staff issues, with shortages in that, but we have added 5 staff in the last 2 years. Staff have come to us and said, these are the areas we think we can use some support. We've also looked at outsourcing, and not saying outsourcing, but seeing if there's another way we can get some of the process done a little bit quicker. But we are, as Councilor Davies said, challenged by what we see in other communities. We know we need to improve the system. One thing that's really going to help us when we bring the enterprise system completely online in July is going to make it more easier to flow through the process rather than doing all sorts of things through paper. So it'll be more technology advanced. So it'll be a lot easier for those that are seeking applications who want through the process to do everything online. So we're looking forward to that process. Will help greatly.
Hello? So just to wrap up, if there's any last subject that any of the candidates want to touch on or finish up and wrap up their kind of speech, we will start once again from this side, and then essentially consider it your closing statement. And if you could please, once again, reintroduce your name and your position as well.
Okay. Hi, Candace Koch, running for councillor. I'd like to speak on question 2, just talking, it's the same topic, parks and recreation. In Mission, 70% of people commute for a job. We shouldn't have to commute for parks for our children. We have a lot of people that commute to Maple Ridge, or they go to the Aldergrove Water Park Center, those types of things. I want to see investment in parks and recreation. Like Obi touched on, our youth need more things to do, less PlayStations, more outdoor things. Pavi is a wonderful advocate in the community, and I believe we do need to get those basketball courts near Grinder Park as well. I want to see more shelters, I want to see more washrooms and facilities. So I think it's going to be the will of council, and it's going to be a strategic goal that we do need to prioritize parks and rec. It's good for a healthy community, mental health, physical health, and there you go. Thank you.
Hello again, my name is Dustin Hiles. I'm running for Mayor of Mission. I want to touch on question 15, why Chilliwack has proven itself to be more efficient and quicker in general for permits and business and family life. It's plain and simple because cities like Abbotsford and Chilliwack are fiscal conservatives. They understand how to manage money. They don't have loaded bureaucracies. There's less red tape. There's less patting each other on the back and hanging out, talking about nothing. I am a free enterprise candidate. I am the only free enterprise candidate running for Mayor of Mission. I believe if you work hard, like the South Asian community has proven, you guys have worked so hard to build our city, to build our country, to build our province. So if you work hard, you should be able to avail yourself of services that are of high quality, of parks that are beautiful for your children and safe streets for your children. So I'm saying these places are better because they know how to manage money. And the previous administration, they cost you more and deliver less. And as mayor, I'll work with whoever's on council to deliver you more and cost you less. So I'm Dustin Hiles. On October the 15th, I ask for your support to be the next mayor of Mission, BC. Thanks so much.
I'm Kenny Brach, I'm running for mayor. 2 years ago, we put a deal together with the Martini family for a major project. We had the right to do it. It was going to be about $2 billion worth of construction, 2,000 jobs, and the property tax increase would have been about on the industrial would have been about $5 million to $10 million a year. They decided that they wanted to tell Mr. Martini they wanted to do a vision. They spent $3 million doing it. On June 20th, go to the webcast and you'll see my brother and myself talking to Mr. Horn and this council saying that they shouldn't be proceeding with it and that they have no authority to tell us what to do with our property. We are zone heavy industrial. We have offers on the table to be able to sell to China right today, who can build a pulp mill and can build a sawmill or a container port. There is no waterfront plan. You guys are trying to figure out how to get your permits accelerated, what have you. $3 million spent. You've got a project manager down there named Gerald Schlesinger. I think he's getting paid $150,000. That money can come back into the, should have been spent on more staff and hiring 2 or 3 more Mike Rhodes, so your guys' permits would get accelerated and we can move forward. Right now, we're at a turning point in this community. There is no path forward with this council, with our family. On October 16th, depending on what everybody elects to do, we are going to make a decision on our properties. If you guys don't want a pulp mill, you don't want a sawmill down there that's going to decrease your property values 25 to 50% overnight, you better get rid of people that are lying to you. I'm running because I'm tired of the bullshit.
Here, here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks again to everybody for hosting this. Again, my name is Ken Harrar, one of the local city councilors here in town seeking re-election. I feel I have another 4 years of good energy to do the job again. But one thing I'm very concerned about in our community, and I'll tell you frankly, Kay is right, 100% right. We made a big error in the decision 2 years ago. And moving forward, Mission is not for sale. We have candidates here who are in the pockets of developers who are being purposely running here and who don't even live in Mission. They live in Surrey. How's that happening? It's the first time I've ever seen that. To me, that's just, I've been a strong independent voice in this community and looked at every application for what it's worth. Mission is not for sale here. I'm not in the pockets of developers. Some people are here. Please find out who they are and who lives in Mission. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, again, and I just want to give you a quick photo album of what the last year and a half has been like since I was elected. Atmospheric rivers, heat domes, wildfires, including one last week, and a homelessness problem that's worsening now that the Vancouver Council has moved so many people out of the downtown east side. The point I want you to understand is that being mayor, being an elected person is a huge challenge. And it's incredibly important that people understand they cannot go into the job thinking there's a single issue that we have to deal with. That's the first thing I want you to think about. The second thing is that when the community is in crisis, you need leadership that's going to be poised and calm, not emotional. You need to be able to keep your wits about you and enlist the help of other people. You need to understand your role and not wade into areas that have to do with the Board of Education's job or the province or the Fed's jobs. We need to be able to work with those groups. We need to be able to work with community members, whether they're individuals, including business. I have no problem working with developers. I have no problem with working with community not-for-profit organizations. If you want to come to the table with person power or money to help make our community better, why wouldn't we have those conversations? What I think I have always been as an elected person in this community is somebody who's willing to do their homework and who understands the importance of experience, not just my own, but learning from others who have it as well. I'm running because I'm concerned about your interests, not self-interest.
Jaguar City Council. Development हो जाती है, development fees होते जाई जाते हैं, permit ते wait time होते जाई जाते हैं, property tax होते जाई जाता है, province ने hospital service की पौड़ियां में कटी जाते हैं दिनों दिन, MLA ने जो election खड़ी हुई सी वो promise किया सीगा और मैं तक करांदे आपा तो, so जितने सी मेरे वोट पाऊंगे अक्टूबर 15 में थोड़े वास्ते fight करूँगा, make sure park करने वाले बैठ washroom होना, benches होना, volleyball courts होने थे, mission दे वाले apps पढ़ना जाना पवे, permit times, wait times थले होने, ते staff ने बढ़िया बढ़ाई, जिले staff नहीं मानते, जितने नहीं ऐसी mission पर डाउन देना, उन्होंने कर दिया, ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਟੂ ਇੰਜੋਰ ਪਾਈਏ ਤੇ ਟੂਲ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਟੂਲਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣ ਸਟਾਫ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਨਰਸਾਂ ਇੰਨੀਆਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਟੂਲਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੇ ਮਟਰਨਿਟੀ ਵਾਰਡ ਬੈਕ ਆਵੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਬੋਰਨ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਵਾਬ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਬੋਰਨ ਇੱਥੇ ਸੋ ਤੇ ਬੈਟਰ ਰੋਡਾਂ ਹੋਣ ਇੰਨਾ ਟ੍ਰੈਫਿਕ ਹੋਈ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਵਾ ਰੋਡ ਅੱਡੀ ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੋ ਅਕਤੂਬਰ 15 ਨੂੰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਪਾਇਓ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ
Angela Elias, I am running for City Councilor. I will work hard to make Mission a better place, working alongside Mayor and Council to address the many issues at hand. Infrastructure services, affordable housing, homelessness, supporting seniors, supporting youth, public safety will be all top of mind. I will be a bull in a china shop to advocate for what we need to get the job done. So I ask that you please vote for Angela Elias October 15th.
Thank you. Again, Carol Hamilton seeking a third term on City Council as a councillor. I recognize that with growth come challenges. At the rate Mission is growing, we need to be mindful of these challenges. And investing in infrastructure to support growth, as well as maintaining our current infrastructure, will be a priority. Fiscal responsibility is another priority for me. We need to be mindful to balance spending and tax. The choices we make today will determine what kind of a future our children and grandchildren inherit 20 to 40 years from now. And all of the other things that people want and are asking for will take physical responsibility. I describe myself as a person with integrity, thoughtfulness, common sense, a good listener, and a voice of reason. I'm excited about the future of our city and I'm honored to serve another term on council. Please vote for Carol Hamilton on October the 15th. Thank you.
Again, my name is Mark Davies, seeking re-election for Mission City Council. This question set was really an overview of typical concerns all over Mission: parks and recreation, homelessness, development concerns, schools, hospitals, traffic. Those are concerns that we hear each and every day, and as council, we work on those problems constantly. The keys to being successful in council comes down to things like relationships with your nonprofits, with your provincial and federal counterparts, with the school district, anyone, even down to the individual residents that you have. You need to have honesty, you have to be open, but you also have to ensure that there is fairness in decision-making, fairness in the communication that goes back, and then last of all, for members of council, that they have trust, that when they are in that room together, they can debate fairly, honestly, and if it's in closed council, that they can be open in closed council as well. So again, on October 15th, please vote Mark Davies. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, and I just want to, I'm Danny Plekas, and I'm running for my 4th term on council, and as indicated, you know, one of the things that I'm challenged by is the ongoing financial concerns that we face in this community, and one of my things is to make sure that we move forward, taking care of those financial issues, and certainly we require development to do that. We cannot pay for things that people have asked for unless we have the ability to do so. It's nice to want parks, it's nice to want all these recreational things, but if we don't have the dollars, we can't pay for it. And the way we get those dollars is through development. Just to give you an example very briefly, the Polygon development has created $830,000 in taxes per year for our community. So each new development brings in those dollars and provides services. So my goal is to push on those issues and to make absolutely sure we do that. I work very hard at what I do. I've been here for 11 years, and I am very sensitive to the issues of the community. So I'm looking forward to your support on October 15th. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you everyone for putting this on. This was a really productive meeting. I do want to talk about one issue that was on here that I didn't get a chance to, and that's Griner Park. I've met a lot of the people in the crowd who go to Griner Park. I've spoken with them at the park, and we really need washrooms in there because it's used by a lot of people in the neighborhood, but also a lot of people that other events are held there too. So to not have washrooms there is, I mean, it's a no-brainer to have them there. There's other parks in the Cedar Valley too that need more amenities. Tom Jones Park off of Fennel. The people that go there bring their own chairs. That doesn't make sense. So that's something we really need to look at and improve upon. But just generally to close, you know, we need to stick to the issues that matter. the issues that affect everyday people. When we're talking about a single mother paying over half their income on housing, and they're paying $1,700, $1,800 a month, and then we're going to talk about issues that aren't relevant, that doesn't make sense. People are afraid of losing their homes at the end of the year. People are afraid of the property taxes going up again, and they're hurting financially. So we need to stick to those issues 100%. Thank you. Oh, and I don't know, did I say my name? Okay. Well, Brandon Keeley, I'm running for City Council on October 15th. Vote for me, please.
Thank you. Again, my name is Shalom Handa, and I am running for City Council. This is something I have been very passionate about pursuing for quite a bit, and I think most of the issues that have been brought up today are because of affordability, and some of it is time constraints. And obviously, I do see that, yes, there's a budget, and you need to keep things within the budget, but there's also innovative ways to approach things to make it more affordable. Trying to figure out an innovative way to even create affordable housing for the younger generations, and sort of looking after the seniors. I am part of the Generation X, and as such, seen things, I guess to say to go downhill is a little dire, but they're not doing well, and we need change, and I need to help bring the changes that bring more positivity to the city and to people in general. And I hope that this October 15th you will vote for me, and hopefully have me be your voice, and realize that I'm just one of you. I want to see a better place for Mission. I want us to get some of the things that we've been waiting for and requesting, and not having anything come through. Thank you so much.
I'm Steve McClay. I'm running for City Council. Normally I'm pretty good at talking a lot, but whenever I hit a microphone, I start getting nervous. So sorry if I ramble a bit. So I moved from a community that overdeveloped, and developers just pushed their way through, and now they're struggling to build up their infrastructure and catch up. Mission is where Langley used to be about 20, 30 years ago. And I don't want us to get there. I think that we need to start focusing on our infrastructure. We need to start working with our developers and holding them accountable. There's some developers that are fantastic with some of their plans, and we need to work with those individuals. We need to work with the businesses on speeding up some of the business permits when we have new businesses wanting to come in. And we also need to focus on our public safety. I know our fire department, speaking from experience as a firefighter, we have one staffed fire engine for all of Mission. So if you're out in Steelhead or State Falls, very delayed response time for them to come to you. So that's one of the things that I would like to address, is hopefully to start adding some more staffing when we start building the new Hall 4, when that gets built up, hopefully, in K-Bar and Dudney. Thank you. So on October 15th, vote for Clean Commission. Thank you.
Once again, I'm Sebastian Obi. I'm running for City Council here in Mission. Over the last 12 years of living in this community, I have built up a lot of relationships. A lot of friends come from here. I've met and worked with many people on this table. And where I look at Mission was 12 years ago and where we are today, we need real results. We've had many promises occur. We've had many promises be made. But who has actually kept those promises? Now, I'm sure all candidates on this stage will agree that the promises that we make are promises that we are all going to keep. I am one of those candidates who will not beat around the bush and will answer directly. There are some things that we all know and can answer off the top of our heads, and there are some things that we don't know that we can't answer off the top of our heads. Public safety is a very big issue within this community. We need to ensure that our essential services are funded in order to provide for the needs of the community. For example, we only have 52 police officers serviced by the RCMP detachment here. 46 of those are municipal line funded, and 6 of those are provincial line funded. Now, say for example, with a population index of 44,000 individuals and you have 52 officers, that's around 832 officers per individual. Sorry, 832 individuals per officer. Now, when you have all those things tied up, those are some things that we need to, those are the small issues that we need to be focusing on. So youth, public safety, and development within this community. On October 15th, vote for Obi.
Again, I'm Pash Brar. I'm running for council. If elected to council, my hope is that together we create a better quality of life for all those who live in Mission. Life is not all about money. It's family, friends, and creating memories. My vision is to have more jobs with living wages. Family purpose-built housing needs to be a priority, so multiple suites that will be as mortgage helpers. I want to attract and support more retail and restaurants that give us a reason to stay in Mission instead of going to other communities. I know our town is going to double soon in the next few years, so with that, we also need to accommodate sport. I make having a healthy community a priority. And I want to work with fire and flood prevention officials to start preventing anything from happening. We just had a wildfire again, and we need to work together to prevent losing homes to floods or fires in the future. And we also need a better bus system. I can't get around on a bus in Mission. It's very difficult, and if you have groceries, it's even more difficult. So we need to work together. So I'm determined and have a passion for Mission. This is a city where I was born and raised, and this is where I take care of my father. So if elected as your next councillor, I will work with you, listen to you, and make Mission the place to work, play, and stay.
Hi, again, Paul Hockridge for City Council, and I'd like to thank everybody here, put their names forward. It's not an easy job, trust me. You all know that now, you're finding it the hard way. Anyway, I'm very passionate about Mission. Ask anybody that knows me, it's my passion. I mean, look at my hat. I love Mission, BC. I started that name back in 2014, registered domains. There was a bit of underlying current in Mission that wasn't very positive, and I thought, let's make this a better place for everybody to live. So I started that in 2014. Have a look at my website. As I say, lots of stuff there. I'm an avid photographer, or maybe it's rabid, I'm not sure. Also have a little computer company I've been running here since the 90s. So I ask for one of your votes. You have 6 for council, 1 for mayor. I ask for one of your votes on October 15th. You won't be disappointed if you vote for me.
I'd like to apologize for stepping out there. I had a meeting with the firefighters. I'm Tyler McStravick. I've been here, born and raised for 27 years old, like I said before. We need change. We need young change. We need a youth voice. I'll be honest, I'll be transparent, and I'll be hardworking for all of you in this room and everybody out there. We need somebody to be the voice for you and advocate for the people of Mission.
I'm Tracy Loeffler, and I'm running for re-election for school trustee for a 3rd term. I've been hardworking, dedicated, and committed to this role and doing the work and keeping focused on students first and student achievement. And we have been working really hard to get that MSS replacement, as well as other schools. And I'm going to continue to keep working hard. And so I ask for your vote and your trust. Again, on October the 15th, vote for Tracy Loeffler. Thanks.
ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਕਰੂੰਗੀ ਜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਿਊ ਪੁਆਇੰਟ ਰੱਖਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ ਈਚ ਐਂਡ ਐਵਰੀ ਪਰਸਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਣ ਵੀ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਵਿਊ ਪੁਆਇੰਟਸ ਐਂਡ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਫॉर ਆਲ ਦ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਟੂ ਕਮ ਫਾਰਵਰਡ ਐਂਡ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਯੂਰ ਵਿਊਜ਼ ਦ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਥਿੰਗ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੀ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਸੀਨੀਅਰਸ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਸੋ ਮੇਰਾ ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਫੋਕਸ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬੈਟਰ ਫਿਊਚਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੀ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫੇਸ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪਈਆਂ ਉਹ ਗਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਜਨਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਣ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਹੋਊਗੀ ਸਕੂਲਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਬੈਟਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਵੇ ਕਲਾਸਰੂਮ ਸਾਈਜ਼ ਛੋਟੇ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਪਲੱਸ ਮੋਰ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਮੋਰ ਰਿਸੋਰਸਿਸ ਫॉर ਕਿਡਸ ਕੱਲੇ ਕਿਡਸ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਟੀਚਰਸ ਐਜ਼ ਵੈਲ ਸੋ thank you and make sure you come forward vote for me Jash Paints on October 5th 8th for early voting and then October 15th thank you thanks again